This is the shift of law, the shift of societies, the shift of, I would say, everything, because 0 degrees is the world axis degree. It's shifting new cycles. This hasn't happened in over 12,000 years.
Hey David, hey Alenka, hey Lauren. Thank you guys for
Hi.
making yourself available. It's Friday the 21st of November at 5:15 UK time, and we're going to be looking at what is going on energetically, psychically, astrally, woo-wooly. That's where we'll begin. I'm going to have all the links for where people can get you. Lauren, crypto astrologer extraordinaire, and the energy doctors, which are energy doctors extraordinaire. Yes,
That's right.
that's right.
That's how it is.
That's how it is.
I'm sure Saturn knows what's happening astrologically in the next year or 2 years.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at what's happening over the next 12 to 24 months. And hopefully
Okay.
it's going to be lots of good news. No?
Not
No?
all good news.
Well, some good news. Okay. All right. So Lauren, what are the major shifts, I
Okay.
suppose, with the outer planets that are taking place? Because those outer planets have more of an impact.
Right. I'm sorry, David, did you say you were mainly focused on Saturn or mainly the outer planets?
No, I have a curiosity when it comes to Saturn and law in particular, because I understand
Okay.
that we're switching systems of law at the moment, even if that isn't necessarily here in our reality, the design of our reality, the system of law that our world is designed around is actually shifting at the moment.
Right. Okay. So Saturn and Neptune um will be at 0 degrees of Aries, February 2020. This is the shift of law, the shift of societies, the shift of, I would say, everything, because 0 degrees is the world axis degree. It's shifting new cycles. This hasn't happened in over 12,000 years. I tried to look for the exact date, but I cannot find a date. And I went back and back, but in over 12,000 years, this has not occurred. I think it's bigger than what we can understand at the moment. I feel that Saturn is it's time, structure, responsibilities, rules, regulations, governments. Neptune is more of our it's fantasies, but it's what our dreams are, what we want, what we desire to achieve. It could be a fantasy, you could have illusions about, I want to, fly in space tomorrow on my rocket ship, and that might be not happening, but it's blurring, and it also blurs the boundaries of the governments, of what is real, what is not real, bringing things into the light. It causes conflict, I feel. Again, I don't have any historical data of 0 degrees, but with other Neptune Saturn conjunctions, there was conflict, major shifts in societies and governments trying to take over new lands, trying to expand their rule and reign. The Roman Empire is one of them. And it doesn't work. Usually it's a crumbling of systems to form new governmental systems. And with this one, because this one is much more critical than the other ones because of this 0 degrees. On a personal level, it's affecting people in a way that is waking them up to a new reality. What do I value? What are my actual values? What do I want to bring into reality? Do I not like what's going on in the world? Do I want to shift this? And we also have Pluto in Aquarius during this time in a sextile to Uranus. So it's bringing this profound change on a global level, but on a personal level as well. It's like a wake up to people, the collective unconscious wake up, and governments trying to hold on to power as well as another thing I could see. Trying to hold on, trying to make more rules, laws, regulations to keep their control. Wars is another thing that occurs during these, or the precursor to wars, but because it's at 0 degrees, I feel that the shift is going to be because of a conflict that is brought on by people having this consciousness upgrade or wake up and almost realizing that what we're doing with these governments isn't real, isn't this is a facade. We've been lied to, which a lot of us know that. But I feel like it's the people that are going to be standing up for themselves, for the world, for the people of humanity to make this shift. Yeah. Because you have governments and leaders who want to make the change, but I feel like it's the people who are going to do the change of this.
David, Alenka, before you come in, so what you're just to encapsulate, so that Saturn and Neptune move into the 0 degrees of Aries. Aries is all about action. Saturn is about laws and structure.
Hmm.
Neptune, dreams, mysticism, ambition, and put
Hmm.
it together. So then there's going to be new structures that are mystical and dreamy and ambitious.
It's more like dissolving these old structures.
Dissolving the old current structures. And the old
Yeah.
current structures, certainly in the West, that we have is increasing authoritarianism, digital
Hmm.
ID, loss of privacy, censorship, uh, getting people fighting each other, more conflict, strip
Hmm.
mining the European and the British population of any wealth or anything, centralization of power. So those structures that are behind those activities are going to disintegrate and fall away. And then the people are going to put something else in place. Is that a fair summation of what you said?
Yes, yes. And something else I would do want to add to that is it could get more intense as we get into February. Once February comes, I don't feel like it's going to be okay, government's down and there's a new system. It's going to be it's going to be a process, but we're in
Yeah.
these energies of this change. So just want to clarify
Because
that.
and I can get how it'd be a process because Saturn and Neptune are slow moving planets.
Right,
And I
yes.
just want to say something about astrology for people, right? Which is, you may be watching this thinking, what is this? What is this hocus pocus bunkum? What are you talking about? Or you may already be sold about astrology, or you may be curious. And I would recommend at the very least be curious. The fact that myself and Lauren were curious about Bitcoin. So we're willing to take a look at it versus just dismissing it out of hand. Or I'm curious about home education. So I was willing to take a look at it. So I would invite people to be curious. And from my understanding of it and my experience of it in the last few years, astrology is a hidden, forgotten science. And it works. I suppose it makes sense from a holistic model. It doesn't make sense from a Western Cartesian model where the only thing that matters is something that is solid because it ignores the force of energy. It ignores the effect of energy. And astrology is all about how different bodies are energetic bodies and shape the energetic field that we are all in. Would that be a very well, a crude explanation of
Perfect. Perfectly said.
speculation. Good, 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 good. But and just to say, Lauren's done some readings on me, which have been quite a bit accurate, and she's done some political readings as well, which have also been uncannily accurate. Okay,
Can I ask a question about,
please.
so that's the period that begins in February.
It happens in February, but I would say, excuse me, we're starting to see it now. January, I would say it's really going to start to intensify because Neptune will move into Aquarius January 26th.
Okay. Because
So,
I'm curious, because when's Pisces? Pisces is, I don't know the dates when we have Pisces next year.
March,
It's about February the 20th.
yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, February
For about
21st
a
to
month.
March
I know
21st.
because I'm Pisces.
Okay. And is anything curious happening in that period?
February, yes, actually, a solar eclipse in uh, February 17th at in Aquarius at 28 degrees. I found this very interesting because Pluto is in Aquarius, and that's that revolutionary humanitarian spirit. The United States was made with Pluto in and it was at the end of Capricorn into Aquarius. So it has the Saturn Neptune conjunction in February on the 20th. 3 days before that is this eclipse, solar eclipse. It's a new moon signaling something new happening, a new shift. I feel like it's really enhancing this new shift in a cycle more towards a humanitarian type of energy.
Could I offer some words to explain that
Yes,
shift?
please.
It's the shift to the new humanity.
Right,
You're,
yes.
you're basically saying that. That's the signal to us all to wake up.
Hmm. Right, yeah.
So what's this new humanity, David?
Well, that's a good question.
Well, yeah, it's a good question. I ask good questions. Now, give me a good answer.
So we've got David got a very interesting quote by John Keats. Who's John Keats? Say something about
John
John
Keats
Keats.
was an Englishman. He lived in the early 1800s. He died sadly at the age of 25. He was one of the most famous English poets. And he wrote a letter, I think it was in 2015, in, you wanted to say something?
2015?
I know.
What?
Don't
He
think
wrote a letter in 2015?
I got the wrong century.
In 1815.
He wrote a letter to his two brothers in which he wrote about this thing called negative capability.
And this is something that I find quite fitting right now. We basically talked about this in our other like chats that we had about this, like coming to one center, like clearing one's stuff, like because it all comes from inside of. Whenever I get annoyed, well, why am I annoyed? It's here where I get the answer. So we touched on that before, I'm quite sure, but this quote or this quote by John Keats makes it beautifully, like it points just beautifully to it, and it gives it that name, negative capability. So,
So what we're really talking about with the new human, the journey for the human is to transcend one's own fear.
Mm.
So it's to be able to live beyond the confines and the constraints of experiencing fear. Doesn't matter the cause is irrelevant. You could say the cause isn't irrelevant, but then you immediately become a victim of something else. If one doesn't seize that the fear is mine, then one becomes a victim of whatever it is that is causing the fear, if it's external to you. So John Keats describes negative capability as the ability to remain in uncertainties, mysteries, doubts, without any irritable reaching after fact and reason. So these words will remain really important during this period of time. Negative capability is about a life of sensations rather than of thoughts. So this describes the switch that we're going through rather exactly. the mental activity that we're so heavily engaged in will become less and less important as we move through this transition. And what will become more important is our ability to just experience reality the way that it presents itself to us.
And
So, yeah,
sorry if I may add, because what I see in there as well is that it has to do with us being with our feelings, feeling our feelings, all things that we haven't necessarily learned in all this past construct of
12,000
society,
years.
So it's good that, yeah, so that's another part of this, like to actually feel all that stuff, feel the fear and feel the, yeah, the uncertainty. What does it trigger in me? Like what wants to come out? What's there for me to look at? Like all of that. Yeah.
Like being an observer of all that, like a bit Zen or something versus being given by it and
No,
consumed
it's
by
one
it.
of the ways in which I disagree with what most modern psychotherapists or philosophers are saying. It's the furthest away from being Zen you could possibly imagine, at least at first, because one must dive into the depths of the feeling and the
Yeah.
how horrible it is, and one must feel how horrible it is to get to the Zen state.
Yeah.
So this idea of being an observer is too distant. One needs to be in it before one can actually observe it. One needs to own it first.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
and this is going to start. We're going to
This is
start.
already happening. Yes,
Okay,
Let's
this
but
is
really, more and
already
more
in
people are going.
progress. Yeah.
Okay, more and more people are going to be shaped by this, and it's going to get more and more obvious in January and keep growing.
Well, it's like this is sort of something one can take. Like what I love about this quote by John Keats is that he's actually got a name for what we basically all need is negative capability. Like we got to be capable of holding all of that, like holding our own. Yeah, how do we react to uncertainties? How do we live through the mysteries, the doubts, and everything without going out and like starting a fight and like whatever hitting someone on the head because that hasn't served us for this all this time, so we might as well change it. So it's yeah, it's more like a state of being that is good to be in.
If you think about it as these 12,000 year cycles, the last 12,000 years, as far as we see it, has been about competition, fighting, domination, control, the things you see on your television every day. That's been the cycle of 12,000 years. We've reached its climax. There's nothing more to do. But one simply cannot continue acting in the same way and expect to become a new human, because that's not the deal. One must deal with one's own rage. And if one is unable to cope with containing and holding on to one's own anger when faced with these external events, then one is going to explode and just cause more problems.
Okay. And when will this kind of show up in our interactions with each other, and what would it look like?
What you mean now, the negative bits or the ones after
The
we've moved through the
change,
negative?
the new humanity.
That's yeah, it depends a bit on how fast we all let ourselves be with that. Because like it's facing your fears, it is, I mean, you all know what that feels like, I guess, right?
Mm.
It's not very pleasant. You don't really want to go there. So um the longer people stop themselves where they get afraid and they just don't go out because they're afraid to go out, right? Then yeah, it's up to us. It's what Lauren said beautifully before. It's the change is brought by the people. So the sooner we all sit down with our fears and be with them and go through that pain that we have and all this stuff and be with that and feel it and honor it for what it is and how important it was. Because I mean, it was quite a long time that we put ourselves through this misery. So we want to like, yeah, we want to own that and yeah, the faster we do that, all of us, the quicker we get through it.
Okay. Right. Lauren, anything you want to add to this or compliment?
Yeah, I do want to say that that quote, which you just said, goes hand in hand with the Neptune Saturn energy for people. Um, Facing their fears, pushing through their fears. Fears can sometimes be things we make up in our head or hold on to in our head that are not real. So it's pushing through them in the face of chaos and just pushing through them to let them go, to release them, to, you know, become more whole, to to release that energy, to, to ascend, raise your consciousness, to be, I don't say better human, but to, ascend, raise your consciousness and be more in a mindful state after releasing these traumas and these fears that we hold on to and tell our stories in our heads.
So it's a bit like decluttering. We make space for the new energies by sitting with the old, right? And letting go of it. So then once we've created that space for the new, then we can
Hmm.
receive the love and the light and everything, like more divine
Right.
energies coming through. Like that's all happening through that. So it's a bit like a decluttering process, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this period, Saturn and Neptune conjunct Aries 0 degrees is going to be for about 2 years, right? Is that
Saturn will stay in the sign of Aries for about 2.5 years. They'll be at 0 degrees for, I want to say a good like month or two, but those energies will persist. And because Saturn is in the same sign as Neptune, those 2.5 years will have that energy with us.
right? And then what's so special about 0 degrees? Is it that it's a change for because you've gone from 29 degrees or 30 degrees? Is there such a thing as 30 degrees or is it zero?
29 and goes to 0 degrees. Yeah.
Okay. That you're now in a new sign. So you've gone from Pisces and now you've tipped over into Aries. So it's a different energetic flavor.
Right. Right. And what's so important about the 0 degrees, it's like this, they call it this world axis degree, but it's signifying a new cycle, changing cycles on a massive scale.
Right.
Cycle, when I was looking all this stuff up, there's the Julian period of time, and then I forget what year it is, then it goes to Gregorian. So think of something like that, going from one time period to another, changing of a cycle of humanity, of governments, of uh, living, you name it, changing.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, everything. Yes.
Everything. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It is now in a new sign. Okay, so I can get that's why 0 degrees is so important. And then what about and I said earlier that because these are slow moving planets, the effects take time to roll out, or they roll out over a long, long period because they're so slow moving. Whereas Mercury, with its 21-day cycle or something like that, something silly or ridiculous like that, it's really, really quick. And I may have got that wrong, whether it's 21 days, so but it's quick. Um, then what about Jupiter and Uranus? Because how will they be? What will they be up to over this period?
Just to go back to really quickly, around March 20th, maybe the very beginning of March, um, Neptune and Saturn will not be exactly next to each other any further. Um, but still, that energy will keep going on. I would say for the 2.5 period of time when Saturn is in Neptune. Jupiter and Uranus.
Oh. Now, just on that, while you're getting that ready, my understanding is a very, very crude metaphor. Okay, so if it's useful, run with it. If it's not, hey ho.
Yeah.
They're conjunct, they're right next to each other. So it's like having two
Right.
magnets right
Thank
next to
you.
each other. That will throw out a particular energetic field. So similarly, when two planets are next to each other, that throws out a particular energetic field. And then when they're opposite each other, two magnets, that throws out a different energetic field, similarly with two planets. And when they're sextile to each other, what is it? They're at 60 degrees to each other or something.
Right. So it's a 60 degrees. I would say they get along very nicely together. They're having a good conversation. They get along. They're happy. Conjunction, like their energies are merging. A trine is also positive. It's also a good conversation. It's a little bit more dynamic, positive conversation, we'll say. Opposition is when they're just they don't agree whatsoever. And a square would be
You know,
they're arguing, but there is the ability to get past the argument and make an agreement of some sort. Okay, so February 13th, Saturn will enter into Aries. So this is Saturn and Neptune conjunction. Now, what's very interesting that the positive humanitarian aspect of us, our consciousness is evolving. Pluto, in a positive conversation to Neptune, Pluto will be in a fantastic conversation with Uranus. So there's this little triangle here with Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto.
Hmm.
Very sudden downloads, sudden breakthroughs, sudden consciousness upgrades. But I want to say more of like a download, like aha moments, breakthroughs. Could be breakthroughs in health or just different breakthroughs in the world to help people for a positive reason, or breakthroughs with people having these aha moments about different conflicts and different things that are going on that are not necessary or that do need to change. But it's positive energy helping to give people the reinforcements that they need. It's going to be okay. This chaos is going to be okay. We're going to get through it and it's going to be better. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel, bringing people together, bringing humanity together in a way that I don't think that we've experienced because this hasn't happened either in a very long time, this configuration.
sure.
Jupiter, yep.
Before you change, Lauren, I just want to say what I noticed. You got all these planets crowded in Pisces, and then
Mm.
all these planets crowded in Neptune. They're not distributed.
That is another great observation. That crowding of energy is intensifying the energies. We have water and fire. Pluto is in air. Jupiter is in water. Uranus is the only thing that is grounding people to Earth because it's only Earth energy. We have this chaotic, emotional, quick moving things, events happening one after the other, people's emotions releasing, people stunned, shocked. But Uranus is that sudden breakthrough, that sudden grounding that people will need to shift the events in a way that I think is very profound for people. It'll be quick, it'll be sudden. Unexpected is, I think, the key word here that would be highlighted in 2026. Oh, unexpected shocks, unexpected shifts. This unexpectedly, Uranus will, I think, surprise people with what they have the ability to accomplish, given the circumstances that we can be facing. In the midst of chaos, pushing through, letting go of that negative emotions, feelings, and thoughts to have those sudden breakthroughs and help to create a new humanity. It's going to be intense with all the energies together. Think of your emotions and anger coming together, clashing, taking action on your emotions, emotionally reacting. Could be another thing that happens a lot. But those emotions, I think, are going to be the fuel to help push people to change. To
Alenka, comment on what Lauren has just said.
Yeah, we had that coming through as well. The thing with the rage you were speaking of.
Hmm. Yeah. Something interesting occurred for me when you were showing the diagram with the triangle and it's like a magnifying glass is being put upon us.
Mm.
And I also see that the Schumann resonance will explode come March, April next year. Like we're going
Mhm.
to have a heightened burst of world energy also coming through, almost in response to this pattern in the solar system.
Okay, let me just say something about that because the Schumann resonance is something I only learned about this year, and it's the background frequency to the Earth. the Earth's hum, and everything is in tune or affected or impacted by the Earth's hum, all the plants, all the animals, everything, because the Earth is humming and everything that's on the Earth is exposed to that hum. And I've noticed over the last few months, and particularly the last few weeks, how the Schumann resonance, that frequency has just gone off the charts every now and then. And I think one of the things that impacts it is energy from the sun, especially if there's a solar flare or whatever, the weakening of the magnetosphere. And there may be other forces at play that I'm ignorant about. But what's the effect of the Schumann's resonance on humanity, David?
You have a heart, Imran.
I do. I have a big heart.
Yeah. And when your heart beats at a certain frequency, it has a particular effect on your cells, on how the blood moves around your body, upon how your brain operates, so how your nervous system regulates or doesn't regulate. The Schumann resonance is like measuring the heartbeat of planet Earth.
Right. Okay. And if it goes through the roof, is it the same as when my heart rate goes through the roof?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. I
Okay.
can't.
Okay, so it's the heartbeat of the planet, but when it goes high, well, what impact does it have on the planet, on humanity, on plants, on animals?
Well, that depends. We're not in isolation. It's like when you're working in your living room, if the kids are making noise in the corridor, then that affects how you work. Well, if your heart starts beating faster, that's going to affect how you can concentrate. But also, if the kids' heartbeats start beating fast, then kids are much more susceptible to changes in the Schumann resonance, for instance. So children will be much more affected by these astrological changes and earth energy changes. So it's almost impossible to predict how it would affect you as an individual because it's a community experience that we're going to be. I mean, that's part of the shift is identifying less with the I as an individual and more of a we as a community. That's part of the shift that we're working through.
Right. Okay. And Lauren, are there any particular planets or constellations that impact the Schumann resonance more so than others? Do you know?
I'm really not sure, to be honest with you. Well, let me take that back. Um, I'm not 100% sure because to be honest, I don't think I've ever really correlated them too, but I would say Uranus, I would say be the one planet that really strongly will affect it. Especially now in Taurus, in an earth sign, there's been a lot more earthquakes. There was just one that went off. I forget what country it was in. It was pretty big. And the solar storms, solar flares that we're having right now, really largely impacting Earth. So I would say Uranus would be the
Right.
planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the solar storms will definitely impact human beings because everything, because we're electromagnetic beings. And that's a change in the energy that's hitting us from the biggest object in our solar system. Okay.
Hmm.
Three Eye Atlas, David. Come on. What's that about?
What's Three Eye Atlas?
You don't know?
They call it the Rock.
Well, I
It's a
mean,
spaceship, eh?
It's a spaceship, man.
yes, it's an object traveling through the solar system, behaving in a way that no known object has ever done. Like, for example, from some of the stuff I've listened to, it has an antitail. Now, for people who are watching, what is an antitail? Well, if you have a comet, this is the comet, the body of the comet, and this is the tail behind, and the sun is over here. So the tail is always away from the sun. So the solar winds from the sun, they are blowing the tail away. So it's furthest away. What Three Eye Atlas has is an anti-tail, which is that it's traveling. I can't do this with my fists, right? I can't twist my arms around. But the tail is between Three Eye Atlas and the sun, which means there's enough energy in the tail that is facing the sun to counteract the solar energy, the solar winds, so it's not being blown behind. And these are poor props, my hands. That's all I got, right? So that's one of the things. Plus, also, it's moving in a way that suggests that it's not gravitational movement. There's other movement. It's not proper. It's not a proper rock.
It's a very proper rock.
It's
It's
Is
a
a,
it?
better rock than most rocks that are hanging around in our solar
Is
system. Yeah.
it?
and it's a good introduction for what's going on
Yeah, it's a very good,
because
it's an eye opener for
yeah,
people.
and it's just absolutely messes with all our expectations, and that's really good because that's where we're moving into. We're not gonna do what we did for this very long period of time. It's not gonna happen anymore. So to have that as something where everybody's looking at and it's like, hold on a minute, that's not doing what we like wanted to do or what we expected to do or how we used to things. Well, yeah, that's how it is. It's not going to be like that anymore, which is a pretty good sign.
Okay, Lauren, anything about Three Eye Atlas? You want to give us a chart, an astrological? When was it born? What's its ascendant?
Well, the colors do mean things, and it has been changing colors. When it first came in, it was in, I believe it was in Scorpio constellation. Now it's in Libra constellation, but it was red, which is war. Then it changed to a green, which is more about vegetation, I guess rebirths of society. But now it's blue, I believe. It's like a blue azure color. That also has a meaning. I believe that has to do, and it's in Libra, so it has to do with royalty, monarchs, governments, leadership falling, we'll say. And I thought it was very interesting when it was closest to the sun, perihelion, is around when Prince Andrew was denounced or his titles were being taken away.
Yeah.
Um, but that's really all I have about Three Eye Atlas. I have looked into it more, and you know, because it is acting in such a erratic, different way, I'm not as strong on comets, and I feel that because it's so different, it is going to energetically influence us differently because it's in our solar system, and that could be also part of this whole entire change. Like you said, it's different. We've never seen this before, and energetically, it could also be right on time with the Neptune Saturn conjunction. Maybe this is also part of this cycling shifts that, okay, this energy is coming in, helping to start a shift in a way. That's just a theory. I don't know for sure.
Well, one of the things I think that may explain how come it's appeared now, because it's coming from a far away in the galaxy, very, very far away, from a point where there was a signal picked up from that same point in the galaxy. And that could be because of where we are in the Yuga cycles, that the whole solar system is above. So the galaxy's sideways on, and our solar system was at this point, and it was obstructed by the thickness of all these stellar bodies. And now we've risen above that. The whole solar system is above this thick edge of this galaxy. So we're being exposed to energies from outer space in a way that we weren't before, which will bring about a change, as all three of you have argued, and I'm discovering. And I'm certainly having my head twisted, right? Like the old models don't apply anymore. What is this? That's right, Alenka. That expression.
What are we going to do now?
What are we going to do now? All right. So, David, tell us more that we haven't already covered that you see as coming out.
Yeah. Okay. So the message I'm channeling. So I'm channeling the Christ at the moment. I've had so Yeshua, or in the West we call him Jesus because we gave him a nice Western name, even though he was a Palestinian Jew by the name of Yeshua. He channeled the Christ, and so he was called Jesus the Christ. But it's not unique to him that he could channel the Christ. That's where it's available to all of us to imbibe the energies of love and dynamism and beauty and light. That's our birthright. That's a little aside, but I just wanted to qualify who is giving me this information that's coming from the same person that Yeshua channeled. And so they say the spiritual hierarchy of our planet say that the change is here, and it begins in December.
Beginning,
And
end, middle, Christmas
well,
time?
let me give you some dates. I don't have the whole story. I
Right.
don't have the details. They don't work that way, mate. It's like, here's a piece of the puzzle.
Time.
Go,
I'll put it
go,
in my diary.
Go figure it
go
out.
figure it out. They're really like, go figure it out, human. Like, you chose to come here. Don't come back and ask us what you need. We'll just tell you what you do need. Go figure the rest out yourself. So December, the change begins. Um, August 2026 is the toughest month energetically.
Mhm.
Whatever that means,
I,
August is the
I
month that
suspect
we kind of need to prepare for.
I suspect Lauren is just checking the start
Yeah,
of
I'm
August
just gonna look on my
2026.
phone.
We'll come to you in a second, Lauren, with
Yeah.
that, right? Okay. So August
And then,
2026 is the toughest month. The change
yeah,
is starting in December. We don't know when, but watch out for December. Please carry on.
yeah. I mean, it was like a couple of days ago, they said, okay, it's in a month's time. So it's sometime probably it's before Christmas anyway.
Okay.
So what that means, I don't know, whether we'll see something in the external environment around us, whether it happens on a public scale or whether it's hidden, how it starts, we don't know. But um, yeah, I was waiting for Lauren to see what she sees about August next year.
Well, I've got something to say
that'd be curious.
about Yeshua.
Yeah,
So, David, a mutual friend of ours, his wife was talking to me about manifestation and how Yeshua, she was using the Western name Jesus. And
yeah,
the book of St. Thomas, which is the book in the Bible that was deleted from us, is all about how the power of manifestation and how, as human beings, we can manifest by, I suppose, tapping into the stream of consciousness and recognizing that we're consciousness. Now, this is all theory to me, by the way. Okay, I have no personal experience. I'm not skilled at this or anything. This is what she was saying to me. And then also, I noticed Cliff High for the last few weeks or months or so has been talking about the book of St. Thomas and about the power of manifestation, how we can manifest stuff. So, is this knowledge, this practice, like, are we going to have a growing awareness of this? Well, that's good. Because I think most human beings would manifest good things. We'd want to manifest peace and flowers and rainbows rather than war and strife and poverty. Want to say, do you have anything to say to add to what I said about the power of manifestation becoming more manifest?
not really.
I think you said it all there.
Okay,
We're just going to manifest the power of manifestation. That's a good start.
good
Yeah.
start, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lauren?
Okay, so August, we have eclipses. Twice a year, there's eclipse periods. August is one of them. There's a solar eclipse in Leo and a lunar eclipse in Pisces. And the North Node is also leaving and entering into the sign of Aquarius. And the South Node will be in the sign of Leo. The eclipses that are happening, when you have a South Node eclipse, that is very challenging. Fear.
Eclipses, their effects last for about the 6 months afterwards, and they're very, very powerful energetically, astrologically. I know this much.
Yes, when it's a North Node eclipse, a lunar eclipse, it's usually more of a positive tone. The eclipse in August, the solar eclipse, is a South Node eclipse. The South Node will be next to the moon. And at some point the South Node is going to oppose Pluto, and the North Node will obviously be next to Pluto, but South Node opposite to Pluto, that is like telling us we need to change course big time. Like it's a course correction, course change that will likely be very difficult. Big changes. It's like we're being forced to let go of what is no longer working. Pluto's been doing that already. Governments changes and societies, but now it's like go time. Like whatever we're still holding on to, macro and microly, it's like, okay, now if you're not going to let it go, I am going to take it away from you, whether you want it to be taken away or not. And that could be on a personal level, or, a global level, but very powerful, actually, I would say.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you. David, is there anything that we can do or should do to prepare or to deal with all of this?
Depends if you live in a zone where there's reasonably a possibility of having volcanic or earthquake activity.
Okay. And I assume if you live in a zone like that, move elsewhere. But
Potent
isn't it the case that given what's happening, that volcanoes and earthquakes could happen anyway? Because the other thing that I haven't mentioned is that the Earth's crust is also expanding. So we have an expanding Earth. So then, well, we'll have earthquakes anywhere, possibly.
Possibly that could happen.
Just so
Well,
you
I'd
know,
say,
I just want to say
it,
that
dep it
find,
depends what you look
hold on a
as.
second, David. Just so you know that people can find my work on Podbean, bit.ly/crypto rich Podbean, and silences don't work very well on podcasts.
right.
Okay then.
I was gonna say, because Lauren had shared so wonderfully about August and the astrology there, and um I see that as like, I mean, we've had a few wake up calls basically for people, right? I mean, there's a lot going on. So, and August is sort of, I see that as the last chance. It's basically like you're either gonna wake up now, or as you said, right? It's just then it's just finished, sort of like
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the ice cream away because you're not having it. I mean, that wasn't a good example with the ice
No,
cream, but
that's a perfect example.
yeah,
Think
okay.
think of a 3-year-old who's just dropped their ice cream face down on the gravel. That's the look that some people are going to have come next August.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And well, what I would say, I would recommend is people check out the energy doctors because you do a lot of work and you train people in this particular modality. And also, please check out Lauren, and I'll have the links for both of them in the description below. And go have an astrological reading and a crypto astrology reading because she does that as well. Anything either of you want to say before we finish up?
Yeah, like I was saying, the astrology, I'd recommend thinking about where you live if you live in a seismic area. That's the best. That's the only advice I have for anybody.
Yeah, if well, it's that no, it's a bad joke. There's the big volcano in Naples. If they would start evacuating now, then maybe they can even evacuate the city. Well, it's because actually it's not, you cannot evacuate the city if anything happens. But if they start now, then it might work.
They'll get out in time.
Just start moving now. That might actually, yeah. It's it's an interesting feeling there in the city, though. It's very interesting, but because it is still active, and it's expected to have a breakout. Um,
Wasn't
but
there rumbling? Was there rumblings there, or maybe there was another volcano, Pompeii, another volcano in Italy that was starting to make some movement? I don't
there's
There's
know which
been
one.
there's been so many recently.
yeah, there's so
Yeah.
much going on there. This is, yeah, so that's interesting that that pops up right now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because they are impacted by energies from outer space, solar winds, a
Mhm.
weakening magnetosphere, the expanding Earth, the effect of Uranus shifting about. Yes. Lauren, anything you want to say before we finish up?
One thing I do want to say very quickly, I forgot to say this before. I do think it's interesting that this Neptune Uranus 12,000 year cycle is also coinciding with the pole shifts that happens every 12,000 years, I believe. I believe it's every 12, about every 12,000 years that it seems like everything is, divinely timing, that everything's just happening according to, universal plans. We
That's
just have to
right.
Wow.
go
Wow.
Just got to go with it and
Just
embrace
gotta
the
go.
chaos.
These are interesting times, and we are here now for a reason. That's where we are now.
Yeah.
So, Lauren, look forward to having you back on again. And of course, David and Lenka, look forward to having you back on again. All the
Thank you.
links in the description below. Really appreciate it. Please share and subscribe and comment and do all that business. This is Rich, David, Lenka, and Lauren signing out. All the best. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.